YouTube is probably the closest thing humanity has to a time machine. And not in some sci-fi way. I mean like emotionally. There's something generally weird about opening an old YouTube video and instantly getting teleported to a completely different era of your life. Like an old Skydoes Minecraft video from 2013. You know, cops and robbers. And just suddenly you're not in your room anymore. You're like 11 years old again, staying up way too late on a school night while your parents think you're asleep. You're like under the blanket with an iPad too, on like 4% brightness. And like somehow your brain remembers everything, you know? The feeling of the room, the cold side of the pillow, waking up the next day tired. That's why I think YouTube is powerful, you know? It accidentally archived human emotion better than almost anything else ever made. You know, movies are scripted, documentaries are polished, but YouTube captured people before they realized they were living through the good old days. That's what makes it special. You know, you can revisit extinct eras of the internet. Old Minecraft SMPs, old friend groups, old creators before drama happened. Like, remember the weird COVID era of YouTube? Everyone was trapped inside. The whole world felt fake, you know? You'd hop on YouTube and watch creators on some random, I don't know, SMP screaming at each other. You know, those videos became comfort for millions of people during one of the strangest periods in modern history. And now when you go back and watch those clips, you don't just remember the videos, you remember the entire atmosphere of lockdown. Empty streets, online classes muted, hearing about case numbers every day, talking to friends solely through Discord. It just all comes back. And it's insane because you can also watch relationships change in real time. You know, videos creators laughing together, and then suddenly they hate each other. But the old uploads exist, frozen forever, you know. No matter what happened later, you know, there's proof that at one point everything was okay. There's YouTubers who quit, you know, got cancelled, who died, but on YouTube, they're still there forever. And that's the thing. You can't reopen old moments in real life, and you can't visit a random Friday night from 2015, you know. But on YouTube, you kinda can. I think that's why old videos hit people emotionally like hard, you know. They're not really missing the video itself, they miss who they were when they watched it. You know, back when summer felt longer and school years felt infinite, your biggest problem was probably, I don't know, your homework or some shit. Like there are certain videos you can never watch normally again because your brain tied them to a moment in your life. You hear one old intro song and suddenly you remember the exact house you used to live in, or the exact friend you used to send videos to every day. And what's sad is you never realize those moments are disappearing while they're happening. At that time, it just feels normal. You assume life is always gonna feel like that. You assume the people around you are always gonna be around. But then years pass without you noticing. And eventually, the only place some memories still exist is online, buried inside old videos. That's why I think people revisit old YouTube videos so much when life gets overwhelming. Or at least I do. Most of them are dumb as hell, honestly, but they just remind me of like a version of life that felt much simpler. Sometimes it's not even nostalgia for the internet itself, it's nostalgia for being younger. Because when you were younger, everything felt bigger. And now everything moves too fast. Creators upload and disappear overnight. Trends last like 2 weeks. People scroll through videos without even remembering what they watched an hour later. But old YouTube feels slower, more human. Like people were just uploading because they just enjoyed it. And maybe I'm romanticizing it a bit, maybe a lot, but I think that's why old videos feel almost haunted sometimes. Not in a creepy way, just strange. Because you're watching a moment where nobody knew what their future looked like. You're seeing people before breakups happened, before friendships ended, before life hit them. There's just something really bittersweet about that. You know what? I changed my mind. YouTube is an actual time machine. Like, scientifically. I don't mean emotionally anymore. Think about it. There are people on YouTube right now that don't exist anymore. Genuinely. There's videos of people before divorces, before addictions, before fame ruined them, before they lost friends. You're literally watching extinct versions of people. That's insane. There are old YouTube videos that feel more real than some of my actual memories. We built a machine that remembers everything. Nothing dies online anymore. And YouTube is the creepiest example of that. Because it doesn't just store information. It stores people. Versions of people. At some point, it stops feeling like a website and starts feeling like some giant artificial consciousness. It's like humans started building a god without realizing it. Not a loving god either. Think about it. The algorithm already predicts people. It knows what you click, what you fear, what keeps you awake at night. It watches entire generations grow up in real time. And unlike humans, it never forgets. It grows on its own, changes on its own, consumes everything people feed into it. I think humans are way too comfortable with the fact that we created something that never sleeps. The internet isn't really technology anymore. It's an environment. People are born into it now. They grow up inside it, their personalities form around it, and every second it absorbs more of humanity into itself. Memories, voices, faces, thoughts. Everything gets uploaded. People casually hand every detail about themselves every single day. What they love, what they hate, what they're insecure about, what keeps them awake at 3 a.m. The system learns people better than they know themselves. And unlike humans, it never forgets. Human memory is merciful. People forget pain eventually. They forget embarrassing moments. Old versions of themselves fade away. The internet doesn't allow that anymore. Somewhere online, there's probably footage of almost every version of you that ever existed. And those versions never age, never disappear. Just permanently exist in digital form long after the real moment died. Humans built some massive artificial consciousness out of itself. Not intentionally, but piece by piece. Feeding one machine endless information until eventually becomes something bigger than the people who created it. A system nobody fully understands anymore. Nobody controls the internet, not really. It just mutates on its own. It shapes culture, politics, humor, attention spans, entire generations. People still act like it's just an app on their phone. That's what makes it scary. Not because it's evil, but because humanity already depends on it. Too much. It's terrifying, but at the same time, there's something strangely beautiful about it too. Because despite all the horror, all the noise, all the chaos, the internet also became humanity's memory. A giant archive proving people were here, that they existed. Maybe that's why old YouTube videos feel so emotional. Because buried underneath all the algorithms and noise, we're still seeing real human moments. Tiny fragments of people trying to enjoy life while they could. And honestly, maybe that's all humanity has ever really been. A collection of temporary moments hoping to be remembered. Anyways, enough yapping. See you guys in the next episode of Jap.